right, well, so Trevor, thanks so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's funny because we had been in contact on and off on Facebook.
That's right.
A while. And at the beginning, I was always thinking like, this guy messages me a lot or he comments on my stuff. And like, I saw that you were an English teacher and stuff. And then I heard that you were doing all sorts of different kinds of jobs and stuff. And
Sure.
so I was kind of curious to get to know you more. We talked on Zoom and you seem like a pretty interesting guy. And I think
Thank
you
you.
have some stories that would be really interesting to the people watching this. ネイティブが実際に話す本当に生の会話になれるように今回のフィルターなしのネイティブ同士の会話をお届けしたいと思います。皆さんこんにちは、アーサーです。いつもはアメリカ人の友達のオースティンと話していますが、今回は初登場のゲスト、トレバーさんとの会話をお届けします。トレバーさんとはですね、実は数年前から SNS でやり取りがあって、英語の先生をしているのは知っていたんですが、話を聞いていくうちにいろんな仕事をしてきた人だと分かって、一度 Zoom で話してみたいと思ったんですね。そしたらですね、いろんな話ができてめっちゃ楽しかったです。で、その話あなたも面白いんじゃないかなと思って今回来てもらったんですよ。で、本当にいろんな話をしたけど、その中で特に興味深かったのは、大手英会話をたった1年で辞めた本当の理由。アメリカの公園から子供が消えてしまった話。日本のエレベーターで起きた彼が忘れられない出来事で特に盛り上がったんですね。ぜひ楽しんでみてくださいね。でも本題に入る前にはですね、初めての方のためにちょっとだけ説明をしたいと思います。英語を実際にとっさに話せるようになるには、英語のセンスを身につけなければいけないんですね。でも、英語教材や英会話レッスンの会話のほとんどは実際の生の会話とかなり違うんですよね。発音がめちゃくちゃ綺麗だったり、スピードが遅かったりとか、だからたとえレッスンの時にちょっと会話ができるようになったとしても、いざ外国人を目の前にして話す機会が来ても、頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないという問題が出てくるんですね。雰囲気あまりにも違うからですね。で、僕も日本に来た時に同じ問題があったから、その気持ちが痛いほどわかります。だから今回の会話を通して、レッスンではなかなか学べないネイティブが日常的にどのような表現を使うのか、会話の自然なテンポやリズムが学べたらなと思います。で、こういうのって僕が日本語を勉強していた時にまさに欲しかった教材です。I hope this video will help you get used to real English. そして今回はトレバーさんが初登場なので、もしまたトレバーさんの話が聞きたいと思ったら、ぜひコメント欄で教えてくださいね。それでは、Let's get started. So,
Sure.
do you want to just kind of introduce yourself, say where you're from and what kind of work you do now?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Trevor. I'm from America. I'm from the state of Ohio. I've been living in Japan about 10 years, Tokyo specifically. And I do a lot of English teaching work. I do a few other things on the side, but mostly English teaching.
Okay, great. Yeah, and what was interesting is when we talked online, you mentioned that you're from Columbus, Ohio.
That's right.
And I know Columbus, Ohio as the town that I would always drive through on my way to Cincinnati
Sure.
to meet my friends who live there.
Sure.
So can you talk a little bit about Columbus, like what kind of a town it is?
Sure. I mean, yeah.
City it is?
Yeah, most people say Ohio's a flyover state.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't blame you. Ohio has the three big cities, Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
Yeah, they all start with C.
They all start with C. Name recognition wise, I think Columbus is the least well known.
Yeah.
However, it is one of the biggest by population, one of the biggest cities in America.
Really?
Really?
How many people?
I don't know the exact figure, but last time I checked, it was the 14th most populated city, beating out others that I was quite surprised to see. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because when I moved to Japan, I think we mentioned before that you talked about how you were kind of interested in Buddhism. You learned a little bit.
Right.
That I used to be a Christian.
Okay.
And the pastor at the church in Tokyo is from Columbus, Ohio.
Really?
Originally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, small world. But so how does a guy from Columbus, Ohio end up here? Because you moved here late, like when you were 29 years old.
That's right.
Most people come right out of college. So,
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah. So Columbus is home to OSU, Ohio State University. Many people say the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State?
The Ohio State. People get very particular about that. Yeah.
Why?
So I personally went to Ohio University, which is a different university. But my hometown, Columbus, is home of the Ohio State University.
Okay.
So it's also one of the largest universities in America by student population.
Really?
Yes. So they have many international exchange students come. Columbus has a large Honda plant.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there's a lot of Japanese. There's a little, it's growing as of recent, but there's a little Japanese area, kind of shopping center.
Okay.
With restaurant, supermarket, things like that. But yeah. So it's growing. But Columbus, we are, I guess, our claim to fame is Wendy's. Wendy's, our first kitchen in Japan, is from Columbus.
It is?
It is.
I had no idea.
And I don't know if this is related or not, but Columbus is considered one of the fattest cities in America.
Go big or go home, right?
Right. And for that reason, we are also a test market. So, McDonald's, Burger King, or any of those places, anytime they have a new sandwich or a new side option, it will come to Columbus first. We will get it. If it is successful, it will be released nationwide. If not, it kind of dies.
It's kind of like America's Test Kitchen. Wow.
Yes.
Man, I kind of want to go to Columbus now.
Yeah, I used to, I used to go to the Wendy's corporate office maybe like once every few months. And in the evening after work, I would go there. They would give me like 2 hamburgers.
Yeah.
I would rate them, and then they'd give me $50 and go home. Yeah, it's
$50 for
pretty great deal. Yeah, dinner plus $50. Yeah, it's a pretty great deal. Pretty great deal.
Great. And so you're from Columbus, and how'd you end up coming to Japan?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a long story.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, my family was a host family for a Japanese foreign exchange student. She was in college, so she was in university at actually a smaller university in Columbus, and so we were her host family for the entire time that she was in college, so about 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
So she didn't live with us.
Okay.
But for all holidays, she would come over. She would get kind of the American experience.
Okay.
When she got her driver's license, my parents helped. Took her out to practice. So because of that, her family came to visit a few times, and we met, and our families became quite good friends.
So I'm kind of curious, so you have an exchange student come over, and I know we had an exchange student stay at our house in like the Boston area. And when you get like your first like Japanese person coming over, there's a lot of cultural differences.
Sure.
And like one of the things that my sister was really surprised about was how there was a guy named Takuro, and she told me one time, she's like, Arthur, Takuro doesn't smell.
Interesting.
Like, he doesn't have body odor. How is that possible? And like, so were you having like an exchange interacting? Was there any sort of like impactful, memorable thing?
Good question. So that's something I didn't actually notice until moving to Japan and shopping for deodorant. I don't recall anything. There's nothing I really recall. I mean, she was relatively quiet, polite. Sometimes, at the time, I know she was interested in like boba tea, like going to boba tea with her friends, which is funny because I think that went out of fashion, and I think these days it's kind of back. It's very circular, but so I don't recall any differences that I noticed at the time.
Cool. All right. Well, so you had the exchange student then.
So that was kind of, I guess, my introduction to Japanese culture. Our families remained close when she moved back to Japan after graduation. She eventually got married, and at this time I was in college, so we were invited to the wedding. So I got to come visit Japan. Sorry.
Where in Japan?
So she's from Hiroshima.
Okay.
So I think on that trip we went to Hiroshima, Kyoto, and Tokyo briefly. Briefly. I know I was quite I think we came to Tokyo last before we left. Maybe we flew out of Tokyo and we didn't really do anything to Tokyo. So like I really wanted to take like a taxi to Tokyo Tower just so I could say I did something in Tokyo.
Wow.
But so we visited when we went to the wedding when she got married. I got to see, like you said, I was interested in Buddhism. So I got to see some Buddhist temples. We went to some Shinto shrines. I was very interested in that. In college, I took class on Buddhism. I took a class on Hinduism. I'm very interested in religions. And that kind of, I guess, opened the doors to me more to the culture.
Yeah. So what kind of like stuck out to you when you first came to Japan? Because I know for me, when I first came to Japan was actually in 2007. I was doing a homestay.
That's the same year I came to Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And I stayed in a very small town outside of Osaka.
Okay.
And one of the things that really surprised me that I remembered was they had like drainage ditches on the side of the road that sometimes had the covers and sometimes they didn't have the covers. And in my mind, I thought like 15, 16-year-old me is like, how often do people fall into these? You know, because in the States, it's normally like covered, you know?
Okay.
So that was one of like the things that like stood out to me in this suburban community. But like, was there anything in your first time in Japan that kind of stood out to you?
Oh, good question. I mean, just taking the shoes off everywhere. You know, we went to Himeji Castle.
Okay.
Not too far from Hiroshima. Very, very important castle in Japanese history. And you have to take off just like most places you go, you have to take off your shoes before you enter. But everybody just leaves their shoes outside and you go in the castle for 30 minutes or whatever. And your shoes are still there. That's kind of,
No one takes your shoes.
No one takes your shoes. It's kind of, kind of unique, I thought.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so then, so you spent some time in Japan and then what's next?
Yeah. So then, I went back to America, went back to school. I think at that time I was a second year.
Okay.
So in America, college is usually 4 years.
Yeah.
And I took like a history of Japan class after that trip.
Oh,
I
really?
was kind of a bit more interested. And then, I graduated during a recession. So I was, I worked at a bar. I worked waiting tables as a waiter, server, and was looking for what I could do next. I remembered, visiting Japan, and I thought maybe I could go there and teach English. And I had heard about the JET program, so I applied. Unfortunately, I didn't make the cut.
Okay.
So so then I ended up getting a job in finance. And did that for a bit, but it wasn't what I studied in school.
Yeah.
Studied criminology, so I was interested in law enforcement.
Okay.
At that time.
Yeah.
I ended up getting another job that was more similar, more in a related field.
Yeah.
Realized I didn't like it so much.
Okay.
Pay wasn't great, hours weren't great.
Okay.
So I ended up going back into my previous field, finance.
Okay.
And changed roles, went from finance to insurance.
Okay.
Was getting a little bit burnout, was working, 60 hours a week, 6 days a week.
6 days a week. And 6 days a week is kind of like rare in corporate America.
Yeah. So I was working on Saturdays, which doesn't happen, sometimes Sundays. I was going in the office. Oh, man. I think I started at 9. I was going there maybe 7, 8. Leaving 7 or 8.
Okay.
So yeah, it was quite a lot.
Okay.
I was making good money.
Yeah.
So that was great, but I was just burnt out. I didn't have time to enjoy the money I made. I didn't have a life. So I decided that maybe I need to take a step back, take a break. So I ended up for the first time in my life, I quit that job without next step.
Oh, really?
Like I didn't have any plans.
Well, was there like a straw that broke the camel's back for you with that?
I mean, I did it for almost 2 years, and I think just the fact that it was like nonstop. I do remember at one time they said, management said that typically in the past we would handle like one or two claims. So it was a claims adjuster. So we would handle one or two claims like a day, but we were getting 4. So, about twice or more than what they had previously managed. And that's, that's something that's like a case you have to carry for a few weeks until it's resolved.
Okay. Wow.
So it just accrues and builds up over time.
Yeah.
I do remember that at one point they adjusted the salaries for everybody.
Okay.
And our salary, this wasn't a bonus, it was an adjustment on the base salary.
Okay.
It was increased by $10,000.
Okay.
Which is quite a significant increase.
Right.
To kind of counter the amount of work. So yeah, just the fact that it was relentless for so long.
So you were making good money,
yes,
but you didn't have a life and it was just too heavy, so you quit with no plan.
Right.
That takes a lot of courage, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a scary time. It was a scary time. For the month, I did enjoy my time. I went to a music festival with friends.
Okay.
I went to the library. I got lots of books. I was reading. I was just kind of decompressing, I think.
Yeah.
My friend had a beach wedding in North Carolina that I went
cool.
to. We stayed at
Was
a
it Myrtle
house.
Beach?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom's from South Carolina. We go to that area. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I stayed there. I do remember I got a job offer.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, can this wait until next month? I'm at the beach now. So I was kind of, it lasted about 6 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of enjoying my time.
Yeah.
I referred to it as fun employment.
Fun employment.
Employment.
That's good.
But yeah, so I knew that my money wasn't going to last forever. I had to get going and do something else. I remember the JET program. So I applied again. Actually,
and how old were you at this time?
At that time, I must have been like 26.
26? Okay.
26, 27. So I applied to the JET program. So actually, I applied to the JET program before I quit my job.
Okay.
I was hoping that would be I would get it.
Okay.
And then I could move to Japan and then I could quit the job, seamlessly, I guess so to say. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I had decided to quit the job and kind of figure out my next steps. And then I thought, there must be another way other than the JET program to go to Japan. So I did some research. I found out about Eikaiwa. Eikaiwa, which I had no idea. So, at this time, like this is maybe 2015, 2016 time, there were, I think, four big Eikaiwa.
Yeah.
So I applied to a couple of them.
Yeah. A couple of big ones.
A couple of the big ones, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. One of them sounded a little bit risky. It wasn't like guaranteed salary.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you were telling me that you're kind of a contract work. So what were the conditions of that?
Yeah. So they didn't help subsidize your flight to Japan. They didn't help you get an apartment, set up a phone, get a bank account.
Yeah.
And then you had hours that you had to be at work.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have a lesson, if you didn't have a student, you wouldn't be compensated or paid for those hours. So
you had to be there, no lessons, no pay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So sounded a bit for somebody to pick up and move across the world.
Yeah.
Sounded a bit risky.
Okay.
Just trying to hedge my risk a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So another one that contacted me reached out to me. That they offered more support.
Okay.
And I ended up being invited after an online interview. I was invited to an in-person interview in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
That I attended, and
how'd that go? How was the in-person interview?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. Yeah. They were a bit strict.
Okay.
Yeah, they it was like a presentation, followed by like a one-on-one interview. And during the presentation, everybody was there in suits.
Yeah.
One of the guys had taken off his suit jacket, and put it on the back of his chair, and the presenter was like, "Oh, this is a formal interview. You should probably keep your jacket on."
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. I'd never seen that before. Yeah. So,
man, I couldn't deal with that, man. I had a suit, but I never wear it.
Yeah. So in the in between time, while I was waiting to go there, while I was interviewing, I guess.
Yeah.
I had taken another job, and it was at a startup company.
Okay.
This is something I didn't mention.
Yeah.
But startup company. So
Yeah, well, what kind of company?
it was they sold dog toys,
Dog
dog
toys.
treats.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So every month they sent a box to your house with treats and toys for your
it's
dog.
like one of those subscription things?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you know, no dress code.
Yeah.
Fully stocked kitchen.
Yeah.
After 5 o'clock, free alcohol.
Okay.
They had great company parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay not so great,
Yeah.
but really great benefits. Yeah, so
Yeah.
from going from that lax kind of environment to
Yeah.
like a more like suit and tie
Yeah.
professionalism was a little bit jarring, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny though, because then you had this kind of startup job. Well, granted, the pay wasn't great, but you had this kind of nice atmosphere, and then you have this Kaiwa job, which probably also doesn't pay super great,
Right.
and you have this really kind of like formal work environment. So I would think a lot of people would have chosen like the startup job. So
Sure.
what brought you to Japan
Sure.
anyways?
Yeah. So, at that time I was in my mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends had started to get married,
Mhm.
started having kids, buying houses. Which the buying houses one is the one that really
Yeah.
scared me. I felt like to buy a house would kind of anchor me
Okay.
in my hometown.
Yeah.
And since I never studied abroad
Okay.
in college, which was a regret that I had.
Yeah.
I really wanted to try living, like
Okay.
moving outside of my city. So the startup company I worked at was based in New York City.
Okay.
My mom is from just outside of New York City.
Mhm.
I grew up really loving the city, the atmosphere, the environment.
Mhm.
So I was hoping to maybe go there,
Mhm.
and I tried internally
Mhm.
for a position that didn't work out.
Okay.
So yeah, then I was looking at Japan,
Yeah.
and Tokyo is a big city. It's
Yeah.
bigger than New York City.
Yeah, it
So
is.
yeah,
Yeah. So then you come all the way and you get a little bit of support and you're working at one of the really, really big Eikaiwa.
right.
And you told me that you quit after like 2 years or something like that.
About a year.
A year.
About a year.
And you didn't tell me why.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, so it was for me it was a bit of a stressful work environment.
Okay.
The location that I worked at,
Your eyes just said everything. I just
Yeah.
saw the flash in your
Yeah.
eyes.
the location I worked at
Yeah.
was a very popular location,
Okay.
so to say, in Tokyo.
Okay. So it was like
Um,
one of those like Ekimae Eikaiwa where like
Yes.
near the station.
yes,
people
yes,
come-
very very popular station. So it was a high performing
Mhm.
Eikaiwa. So I started there. I was one of 3 full-time foreign teachers.
Okay.
I worked with a guy from Scotland.
Okay.
He had worked for that company for 10 years. And I worked from a girl from America. She had worked there for also maybe more than 5 years.
Okay.
And I think she spoke Japanese.
Okay.
So I came there. I didn't speak Japanese. I had very little experience as a teacher.
Mhm. Mhm.
I did some volunteer things back in Ohio.
Yeah.
But very little experience. So, I had questions that I think any newbie would
Yeah.
at any job, and they weren't interested
like-
in entertaining that.
Like what were one of the questions?
I just asked for like advice, like I'm having trouble with this, like how can I do this?
Yeah.
And like so it was a business eikaiwa, but
Yeah.
we also taught children.
Yeah.
So, I had questions like, oh, how can I make this lesson more engaging for the
Yeah.
children? How can I get them to focus more?
Yeah.
They just, weren't very interested
Okay.
in,
Just kind of blew
and
you off?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're keeping this anonymous, so you can share a little bit more.
A little bit
details.
more?
It kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like opens things up for me. Like,
Okay.
so you worked there for a year, and I think a lot of people, they think, okay, yeah, my job isn't great, but I'm in Japan and it is a job. Let me just do this. But I think for a lot of people who work in Eikaiwa, the pressure slowly mounts to like a breaking
Sure,
point. And
sure.
kind of like what I shared before. What was like that straw that broke the camel's back moment where you just said, okay, I need to leave this?
So that eikaiwa hires at that time, I don't know their policies now, but they hired in groups from
Okay.
overseas. So when I came to Japan, there were, I think, 11 or 12 of us.
Okay.
From America, from England, from one girl's from South Africa. So quite international.
Mm-hmm.
We would have our contract was 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and we would find out about the renewal after 6 months.
Okay.
So 6 months before your contract ended,
Mm-hmm.
you would find out if it's going to be extended, how long it's going to be extended,
Okay.
or not.
Mm-hmm.
We had a group chat online,
Okay.
and I remember everybody from my group was like, "Oh, I got my extension," and this was in April,
Okay.
late April.
Okay.
So as you know, early May is
Yeah.
Golden Week.
Right.
So, the entire country almost shuts down for a week or more.
Yeah.
Golden Week came, and I didn't find out, and I felt that was intentional.
Yeah.
I felt like that could have been done before.
Yeah.
It seemed everybody else was.
Yeah.
And just other things that we discussed in the group chat. Like I know one of the guys. He was in Saitama.
Okay.
He said he was teaching like 3 or 4 classes a day.
Okay.
You're there like 8 hours a day. If you're not teaching a class, you can prepare for a class or do something else. I was teaching pretty consistently 6 or 7 classes a day. So, and we were getting paid the same. And it was just, I felt like, probably partially because of the location. Other people had really supportive staff. They were talking about, the staff would buy them a carpet for their apartment. So it's a company apartment.
Yeah.
Company provided apartment. Like, staff would provide them a carpet, or, got on Amazon with them and bought them a carpet.
Okay.
I remember since I moved into that apartment, that, there was a TV, a very small TV. The sound never worked on the TV.
Okay.
So I asked about that.
Yeah.
Which kind of turned into like a bigger issue than I anticipated. And what ended up happening is they wanted me to bring the TV to the school, which was about a 45-minute hour trip from my house, so that the other foreign teacher, who I guess had a background in electronics or engineering, could look at it and then decide what to do. So I had to put it in a suitcase because it's quite big. I couldn't carry it.
Wow.
Drag it to the school. He looked at it and he said, "Yeah, it's dead." So then after that, and I think after that I just said, forget it.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever replaced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just felt like I didn't think it was going to be that troublesome, but it seemed like it was a big burden on everybody. So I just kind of dropped it.
Okay.
But just many little things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so then you decide to jump ship. You decide to just say bye-bye to that eikaiwa. And how'd you get out of that to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so during that Golden Week period, I guess I had seen online somebody posted a job. So this was a kindergarten job.
Okay.
Which made me a bit hesitant at first. Yes. I wasn't, too familiar with teaching kids. So I was a little bit worried, but, instead of the eikaiwa, which was Tuesday through Saturday, basically noon until 9 p.m.
Okay.
So, I was getting home around 10 p.m., eating dinner, maybe watching an hour of TV or something, going to bed. It was like 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it was more like business hours, I guess. No weekends. So I applied for that. I got it. It was a franchise school. So it was very much like that startup environment that I left. It was like one person. It didn't have to go through like a corporate hierarchy structure. And they treated me very, very well. I was super appreciative to how kind they were to me. And then, having my weekends, my evenings free allowed me to attend some events I had heard about, so I met other foreigners, I met other Japanese. I saw, that Tokyo is much more global, much more international than I had seen when I worked at the Eikaiwa, maybe after work, coworker or friend and I, we would go to the hub or something, right? That's all I saw.
Yeah.
But now I could go to like, there were many talks, like people do presentations or there'd be startup events or so I could see much more. I could meet more people, network more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up moving from Eikaiwa to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do. So do you still work at that?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So right now you told me you're kind of like doing a few things. You're working.
Sure.
You're doing some non-English related stuff.
Sure.
But you're basically like, are you like 100% freelance now or?
Basically. Yeah, basically. So I have contracts with different clients.
Okay.
But they're all part-time.
Okay.
So I'm not full-time with anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you actually work like at like an official school, or is it more of like Eikaiwa private business?
A bit of both, actually.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of curious because I told you my friend that I talk with often on this channel, Austin, he's only worked at schools.
Okay.
Private.
Okay.
I don't know if he's done public schools. But so for you, what's kind of like the difference in teaching environment in like a regular school versus Eikaiwa?
An Eikaiwa? Yeah. Eikaiwa. So a regular school with it being students, it's more maybe textbook based. Eikaiwa is more, it's more conversation based. So I think it's a bit more freer, less structured, I guess you could say, is the big difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's like the work environment like? Because I know a lot, like I said, a lot of people, they come on the JET program and they teach out of school in Japan, and a lot of them say, it's too tough, like it's too rigid. But then I hear another people come in on Eikaiwa saying the same thing, it's too rigid.
Sure. I think the biggest difference is the hours of Eikaiwa.
Okay.
Because Eikaiwa wants to serve predominantly business or children. So it's like morning hours or evening hours. Whereas a regular school is weekday hours, business hours. And it's a bit more like an office environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, so you've been here for what, like 9 years now? 10 years?
Yeah, almost 10. 9.
Okay.
10.
Okay. And in that time you got married, you have a kid and stuff, and you're doing all these jobs. What's one of like we'll do both sides.
Okay.
What's one of like the tougher things for you about living here, particularly about working here?
Okay.
And then what would you say is like one of the things that keeps you here and not going back to the United States?
Okay, sure. So one of the tougher things, work-wise, a lot of processes are still very analog.
Okay.
I guess this spills over into personal life too. Like if you have to go to City Hall or renew your visa, there's still a lot of analog. I need to get at this current moment, I need to get a document from some of the places I work to verify my employment for my child's nursery school. And I'm emailing with one of them now, and it's sounding like they sent me the document for me to print.
Yeah.
Sounding like they want me to fill it out and then physically take it back to them.
Okay.
So it's just very analog I feel like I could just email it back to them.
Yeah. If they email it to you, you should.
Right. So, so just some analog processes kind of can be challenging at times. But as far as the benefits, I think there's many benefits. We talked earlier about transportation.
Yeah.
I mean, the trains in Japan are great. Tokyo's a huge city. There's tons of events happening all the time. And the cost of living. We were both Americans, so the cost in America is increasing.
Yeah.
And in Japan it's increasing as well, but I feel like not to the extremes as in America.
Yeah, full-time daycare in America is like $2,000, $3,000.
Yes.
So
yeah,
in Japan it's like 3万円, which is nice. I mean, of course that's because you get a lot of like hojoki and stuff like that, but still, for me personally, like at least while my kids are small, I'm definitely staying here.
And about kids as well, like nursery schools are quite nice. Like you don't have to really worry about any incidents
Okay.
that maybe in America you have
Yeah.
to worry about when your kids go to school, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah. I mean, the safety here too, like, it's funny because, so how old are you now, by the way?
I'm 39.
39. Okay. So you're 5 years older than me. So when I was a kid, like I told you, I moved to America from Germany when I was 7 years old, 1999.
Okay.
And I was turning 8 at that time. But I remember playing out at the park, and the park was, so where I lived was actually right across from my school. I lived across the street from my school. And
Okay.
There was a park there
Okay.
that was a public park, but also used in school recess. And every day there would always be kids playing at the park. And now whenever I go back to the States, there's no one at the
Really?
park.
Okay.
You'll have like parents with their toddler children
Okay.
and stuff, but I almost never see kids just playing in the park. And we have like 2 baseball diamonds, we have a basketball
Sure.
court and
Sure.
jungle gym. It's like a ghost town.
Did you notice, this is something I noticed recently?
Yeah.
Because I think, one of your kids is around the same age as
Yeah.
mine. Parks in Japan seem to kind of be geared for like very little kids. I feel like parks in America are geared for like 8, 9, 10 years. Like I
Yeah.
feel like the steps are bigger and
Yeah. Well, actually that makes a lot of sense. To be honest, when I first came to Japan, I was really turned off by the parks because
Okay.
so few parks actually have grass. It's
true.
like a
That's
gravel
true.
thing.
That's true.
And at first I was thinking, man, this is so dead gray urban
Okay.
stuff. But now when I think about it, actually, what I kind of like that because it's like a flat canvas for you to do anything,
True. Yeah. True.
And yeah, normally you have like a slide and stuff. But yeah, now that I think about it, when you they recently redid the jungle gym area at the park near my elementary school where I could take my kids there sometimes when we go back to the States.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess it is a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing I just noticed recently, but
Yeah.
yeah, I remember parks like kids kind of playing there independently.
Yeah.
Parents just maybe sit off on the side,
Yeah.
let them enjoy. But in Japan, I feel like that it's kind of designed for smaller legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing that's interesting is for me, because I don't know what the parks like are from you, but where I live now, they do have a lot of parks, but like I said, a lot of them are just kind of like flat circles of gravel with maybe like a park or like with a slide or like
Sure.
a pull-up board or something. And it's funny because I feel like in the States in the parks, they have a lot more items in the parks,
Sure.
but fewer kids are there
Okay.
to use
Okay.
it.
One thing I noticed at the
Yeah.
park in Japan with my child is we were on the swing set. I was
Yeah.
pushing him on the swing, and I read the back of the swing.
Yeah.
Said manufactured in USA,
Really?
which I thought was really interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because like I always have these experiences where when I first come to Japan and I'm like, this is so different from the States. This is strange.
Right,
I don't want this. But
right.
now it kind of like makes sense.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So for you, like, how do you like in your everyday life here, like what's another thing that's keeping you here versus going back to the States?
I mean, specifically about Tokyo,
Yeah.
just the convenience, the walking. On Netflix, there's a very popular Japanese show in
Yeah.
English, Old Enough.
Old enough.
Do you know this show?
Yeah, I don't really watch Netflix, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the premise of this show is, it's from Japan, so
Yeah.
mostly Japanese families. They have a child, maybe 3, 4 years
Okay.
old. They send them on an errand.
Okay.
Go to the store and buy onions.
Yeah.
Okay. And the film crew follows them, and unless they need to, they don't intervene. So
Yeah.
the child goes and gets on the bus or goes to the supermarket, and they dump all of their money on the counter, and the clerk counts out what they need and gives the rest
Mhm.
back. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
My wife asked me, how old were you when you did something like this? And I said, probably about 16.
Yeah.
And she said, 16?
Yeah.
That's way too old.
Yeah.
And I said, but the reason is because you need to drive in America.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to drive to the grocery store,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I had to have a driver's license. If I walk to the grocery store from my house in America, probably be an hour and a half to walk there.
Right.
Yeah. So 3 hours round trip,
Yeah.
and then you have to go shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Man, no, it's funny now because you talk about it like growing up in Columbus, because the more I talk to you and I talk to Austin, I really feel like I live in a very strange part of the country.
Okay.
Because like I told you, where I lived, they had a commuter rail really close to the house.
That's nice.
And maybe a grocery store was kind of far away, but there was always like a corner store. Or
Okay.
gas station
Okay. Like
that
a convenience store.
Yeah. Like I remember I'd go with my friends, play in the park. Well, no, I didn't really have friends. I played with kids at the school who were
Okay.
nice to me
Okay.
when I was there. And then I'd go to like the gas station, get a Coke or something like that. And go
Okay,
home and
okay.
stuff. And that was around when I was like, I don't know, 9, 10 or something.
I mean, I guess, when I was like 9 or 10, I was riding bikes.
Okay.
So maybe we could go to like a gas station or something, but I don't know. Maybe my parents didn't trust me to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now like even in the States when so if you let your kid play in the park alone and you're not there, people can like call the cops and say
Sure.
you're neglecting your
Sure.
kid,
Sure.
So,
Yeah. And in Japan, like when I go to work all the time, I see like really little kids, and they have their little train pass, and they're like going through the gates. And I read that, in Japanese society, it's kind of like the village supports the child. So it's kind of like everybody is watching after those kids to make sure, nothing.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not the perspective in America, but it's a really great perspective.
I feel like we could talk about this for another episode, but like I feel that like when my kids are playing at the park and like my kids fall down, like I have 2 boys.
Okay.
And I know falling down, scraping your knee, it's not a big deal, even if it hurts. And so I like mosey over there, take my time, but then like a mom will come dashing up, come to my
Sure.
大丈夫、大丈夫、大丈夫、絆創膏貼ってあげるね. I'm just like, this is my kid. What are you doing?
Sure. Yeah.
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 Man.
I was taking so I have a son too.
Yeah.
I was taking him to nursery school the other morning, and we got in the elevator to go to the first floor, and he was really upset for whatever reason. And when we got in the elevator, there was a mom and her daughter who was maybe a couple years older than my son. And they were in the elevator. And when we got to the first floor, he kind of laid on his back and was having a tantrum. And, I waited a few seconds to try to calm him down, get him to stand up. But they were waiting to leave the elevator.
Yeah.
So I think I had his bag and I had trash.
Yeah.
So I think I was trying to explain to him, like, I will carry you, but let me throw this trash away first. So my hands were full. But he's having a really bad tantrum and they were waiting. So I said, okay, fine. And I put all the things on the floor and I picked him up.
Yeah.
The mom in the elevator picked up the bag and handed it to me. And she picked up the trash and said, I'll throw this away.
Man.
Yeah. So, just that whole like communal kind of. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I felt like really, I felt really bad. Like we were holding them up.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, daijoubu.
Yeah.
And, then we walked to the trash area together.
Okay.
And she asked me, how old is your son? And, I told her, and, I asked her how old her daughter was, and she was like, oh, this age, it's fine.
Yeah.
No worries, no problem.
Yeah.
And we ended up walking the same direction for a bit, and then they were like, okay, bye, matane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just nicer environment.
Yeah. Man, well this is great. Yeah, like I said, I feel like we just opened up a whole nother chapter that we can talk about. And I want to ask everybody watching this. So you've listened, this is the first time having Trevor on the show. If you want more of him, say, I hate you, Trevor. I never want you to come back again. No, that's an American joke. But yeah, let us know if you have like questions for Trevor. I'm going to share the link to this video after we've published it. He can maybe answer questions if he wants. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or want another episode about a topic, just let us know in the comments. But yeah, Trevor, is there anything that you'd like to say to the viewers, or any final comment or anything?
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun. I think there's a lot more we can talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Nice. See you next time.
See you next time.
いかがでしたか？今回はトレバーさん初登場でしたが、僕としてはまだ半分も話していない感じがしたんですね。で、日本の子育てのこととか、あと一本丸ごと話せそうな内容でした。もしまたトレバーさんに来てほしいと思ったら、ぜひコメント欄で教えてください。あと聞いてみたい話があれば、ぜひそれも書いてくださいね。さて、こういう会話を聞くのは第一歩としてはいいのですが、生の世界で英語を実際に気軽に話せるようになるには、第一歩に過ぎないんですよね。英語を実際に話せる鍵は勉強じゃなくて話す感覚を身につけることです。僕自身も4年間毎日日本語を勉強したのに、実際に日本に来たら全く話せなくて本当に悔しかったです。なんでかっていうと、フレーズや文法っていう知識はあったけれども、実際に話す時の感覚がなかったからです。で、英会話レッスンならちょっと話せるけど、いざとなったら言葉が出てこないっていう問題を解決する鍵は、この話す感覚の習得にあります。で、具体的にどうやって僕と900人以上の僕の生徒さんがこの感覚を身につけて、いつでもどこでも気軽に自信を持って話せるようになったのかは、その方法を無料動画講座でシェアしています。もし今の英語学習に満足しているなら問題ないです。ぜひこちらの動画をご覧ください。でもし今から英語を話せるようになりたい、自分を変えたいという気持ちがありましたら、こちらをタップするか概要欄にあるリンクをタップして無料動画講座にお申し込みください。Thanks for watching and I can't wait to see you next time. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。See you next time!